As Naomi approached the village, she felt uneasy. The closer she came to her home, the less it felt like home. There was an emptiness. Something was missing. Naomi was coldly greeted by a villager, then met by the inner circle. Something feels different. I want to meet with you all in my family. I will fetch them and return here to discuss it. You were right. The explorer waited until you departed and convinced us to accept their proposal. The bright-eyed explorer convinced the people that their proposal was just and right. All those who publicly opposed were brutally killed. You all are standing here. You knew my perspective. Were you spared? Is my family safe? We disobeyed you. We were fooled, perhaps influenced. We were spared. Where's my husband? Where are my children? Where's my mother? It is with a sad heart that I say that they are dead. They were killed by villagers in a most savage way and buried in the center of the village. Naomi was initially emotionless and speechless. The Northeast Africans would never harm their own family. This can't be. This cannot be. We are to blame. Each day I cry for the evil we allow. We were overtaken by their power. These influences you speak of, are you influenced by them now too? No, yes. I don't know. Show me. Show me. Naomi and the inner circle did not walk far. As they approached the ground, still completely saturated with the blood of her family, she felt ill. She looked around the village, then to the forest, and called out to her husband, to her children, and to her mother. It was as if she did not want to accept that they were in this mound. She much more wanted and hoped that they were just not present because they were doing the work of loving, empowering, and protecting the villager, her family. But there was no answer. This is where they lay, inside a single burial site. Naomi dropped to her knees onto the mound. Under the weight of her body, her knees sank downward. She leaned forward and placed her hands on the saturated, upward rising pile of earth. She rubbed the damp, heavy soil over her body. She rubbed it on her arms, on her legs, and her face. She laid on top of the mound. She cried out for her mother. She cried out for her children. She cried out for her husband. Her mind was as cluttered as the old-growth rainforest in northern Mozambique. Sometimes a mist descends and it was nearly impossible to find one's way. But by the sound, one's memories and instinct could man be successful in finding his way out, lest he chose to stay put until the mist dissipated. Once Naomi felt the heavy mist during a visit with Oni. Oni remained calm. Initially, Naomi was anxious, then calmed herself. Oni pointed out the various animal noises. Naomi could hear them in unison, then each sound individually. Oni had Naomi touch and really feel the leaves and vegetation with her hands and feet. This place had no more control over her and presented no fear than she allowed. Oni grabbed Naomi by her hand and led her down the mountain. Mentally, the murder of her family brought a terrible mist, one the likes which she had never experienced. There were things, however, that she thought of in order to get through this experience. So in spite of the mist, she pressed toward obtaining the facts behind her family's death, and then she would focus on properly grieving. She knew that when she touched the leaves, that she would gain enough insight about her environment and make an informed decision. She needed to know what happened in order to make the appropriate decision and provide the appropriate response about her family. Yes, anger and revenge were absolutely options that were available to her once she justly evaluated and knew more about the surrounding circumstances. She slowly stood and instructed the inner circle, "Take me to the explorer." The inner circle walked toward the coast where the explorer had set up his headquarters. As Naomi walked, she realized she smelled of iron from the blood in the soil. She soon saw the explorer for the first time. From a distance, the bright-eyed explorer saw her and then spoke to her. "Stop where you are." Naomi stopped in her tracks. "What do you want? Why are you soiled and why do you smell of iron?" "Under whose authority did you approach my people? I want to know so that I may meet him or her. I'm soiled because I visited the burial site of my family, and I smell of iron because their burial site is covered in their blood." "Oh, are you Naomi?" A second explorer came forward at the call of the first. The second explorer was a witch. The witch had taken the form of a male explorer but now transformed herself and took her true form as she stood beside the explorer. She was beautiful. She was a very beautiful blue-eyed witch. "How can I be of service?" Meet Naomi. She's the healer in which we've heard about. She has just learned about the death of her family. Naomi, I am here on behalf of the United Kingdom of Britain and Ireland. Your family's death was necessary to prevent opposition to the king's directives. This area is rich in resources and my king is in need of those things. He gets what he wants and he has given my witch and I authority to proceed with it on his behalf. I wish to see your king. I'm afraid that's not possible. He would never meet a commoner or the likes of someone like you. Naomi slowly walked forward. She felt a force attempting to control her. She had never felt this before. While it was considerably uncomfortable to disobey, she endured the mental pain and moved in the explorer's direction. The explorer was surprised that she could move at all. He again instructed her to stop where she was. She soldiered forward, even though more slowly, until she could no longer move anymore, at which point she stopped. You're more powerful than I thought. I've never met anyone like you who could have disobeyed me. Tell me how my family died. Who died first? What did they say? Were they in pain? Are their bodies whole? I must honor their bodies with our African burial ritual. You won't find them whole. This should provide you with enough insight into how they must have felt and the amount of pain they must have experienced in their final minutes of life. And why were the members of the inner circle spared? I contemplated only banishing and exiling your family. The inner circle took an emboldened and angry mob and told them that your family did not deserve to live. Could have prevented this had I been here. I may never forgive myself. Naomi's footing gave way to the inner weight that pressed her downward. It was not a force that the explorer wielded, as he so arrogantly thought. It was the weight of loss. It was the survivor's guilt. It was from the internal second-guessing one makes in their head as it's filled with the deafening sounds of the numerous inner voices that describe in great detail how things would have been different if. The mist was heavy. Naomi looked down as she blamed herself. She then looked up. Naomi looked at the explorer, the witch, and then the inner circle. I will never forgive you. I will make the people of Northeast Africa suffer forever. They will always know pain. Your king, he will also know great pain and suffering. Naomi looked specifically at the bright-eyed explorer. What are you? How did you so easily lead my people astray? People see hazel eyes. My eyes are yellow. I have an ability to influence people and even control a witch. You're somewhat exceptional, however. I never had to so forcefully work to influence a witch before. I feel weak. Never have I ever wanted to use my gift in this way. Never have I had thoughts or feelings like this. These menacing desires to act this way with my gift. I've never felt so much hate and anger. Never! You have no remorse for what you've done. Naomi turned and spoke to the inner circle. Take me to my family. Take me to where they lay. I must honor them as it is my way and the way of my African people. They deserve it. The inner circle moved without hesitation to grab and steady Naomi as she walked. Stop! You will not help her. Be gone, witch. Rejoice in knowing that I will let you live. I said move, backstabbers. The inner circle almost buckled under the two forces. One from the group within the inner circle immediately went mad and screamed out. The competing voices and the physical turmoil caused a searing pain in his brain and a tearing feeling that was too great for him to overcome. The others walked on with Naomi. I will warn you no further, witch. You and the inner circle will do as instructed. You leave and the inner circle stays. They have business to tend to on behalf of my lord, the king. Naomi stopped. With her spine aligned perfectly vertical and her feet planted deeply into the earth below, she stood upright and motioned for a boulder to come forth. She threw it with an unimaginable force in the direction of the witch and the explorer. She then instructed the inner circle to take her onward. The explorer's witch saw the rapidly approaching boulder and created a force field in the nick of time. The boulder smashed into pieces against the force field, inches from their faces. The pressure from the impact nearly knocked the two of them off their feet. The explorer looked at his witch. He was slightly shaken. Never had he seen so much power exhibited.